Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Community Engagement Podcast. Hosting today's show will be
Heather Bryson
and co-hosted by myself, Gary Bryson. Today we're going to be joined by Jean Inglis, Befriending and Mentoring Services Manager from Volunteer Glasgow, who'll be talking to us about their young person's befriending and mentoring services. Thanks for joining us today, Jean. How are you feeling? You okay?
I am quite nervous, but...
Yeah, you just relax. You'll be fine, honestly. Heather, it's over to you. You want to start?
Yep. Hi, Jean.
Hello.
When I think about befriending, I tend to think of a service for the elderly. But the service you provide isn't like that. Who is the service aimed at and why?
The Young Person's Befriending Service is aimed at 8 to 18-year-olds. And I suppose we all need the kind of support that a befriender offers from time to time. It's specifically for young people who need a consistent supportive adult in their life, who could use some opportunities to build skills, to try out new things, to make mistakes without any cost. And we all need that from time to time. But there's lots of young people who don't have those things readily available to them.
How does a young person go about accessing your service?
Well, we try and make it as accessible as possible. So we've got, people do have to be referred, but anyone can refer, and a young person can refer themselves. We try and make it as easy as possible because nobody wants to go through a big palaver to get something that they want and need.
What can a young person expect to gain from using the service?
Hopefully fun, but also a relationship with an adult who is consistently there for them, who is prepared to listen, who enjoys their company, who's got their back, who is prepared to let them explore their dreams and aspirations, who'll share activities with them, maybe stuff the young person was a bit anxious about trying before, like rock climbing, or maybe it's just messing about, all of those things. It's about time that's about the young person's concerns and about what they want to do.
How long might a typical young person access the service for?
Now, that's a tricky one. I know what our average length of match is, and that's about 24 months. But there are young people, and then I sort of thought about the question a bit more, and I thought that's not about the length of match, because there are young people that have had a match with one volunteer, and then that comes to an end, and they have a match with another volunteer. So we've had young people who have had quite lengthy matches, and we've had young people who have quite short matches with volunteers and maybe had 2 or 3 matches. I mean, a lot of our young people have grown up with us, so they're around with the service for a few years, but they might only be matched with a volunteer for the average amount of time, the 24 months.
Are you able to provide us with some examples of the difference it has made to the lives of some young people who have used the service?
Young people tell us that they would never have tried something had they not had their befriender with them, or they felt more confident about getting into college or trying for college, or they just feel more confident. One of our young people whose match finished fairly recently said that he felt better able to talk to his family, and he reckoned that was because of he had a mentor, and he reckoned that was because of the time he'd spent with his mentor. He felt that he was better at organising things and finding out about different activities because that's what he had done along with his mentor, and now he felt more able to do it in other bits of his life. So it varies a lot.
If someone would like to volunteer as a befriender, how do they go about doing so?
They just need to get in touch. We're very keen to have befrienders and mentors from right across the community. And although I've just said that our average match is 24 months, there are matches that are much shorter. We're keen for people to get in touch and come along and have a chat with us about what they could offer. And we then would invite them along to the training. And that's about people finding out what our expectations are of them as a befriender. So somebody can go through the training and then decide, actually, no, this isn't for me, or yes, I want to do this, but I don't want to do it with you guys. Equally, it's about us finding out about them. Are they an appropriate person for this? Is this the right volunteering opportunity for them? And the training also tells us a wee bit about the individual, so that hopefully at the end of the training and vetting, we can identify which young person that particular volunteer should be matched with. What qualities has that volunteer got that will suit which particular young person? But we want to talk to people about it so that they can check us out and we can check them out as well.
What sort of qualities or experience are you looking for a befriender to possess?
We're looking for people who are interested in young people, who are able to make a commitment to a young person, a regular, consistent commitment. Somebody perhaps with the ability to listen, accept what a young person has to offer and bring to the relationship, a sense of fun, a sense of humour, imagination, some organisational skills. But really, we're just looking for human beings who are interested in this kind of relationship and this kind of support for young people. We're not looking for people with experience of work with young people or anything like that, just human beings.
I'm assuming that all your befrienders are PVG checks?
Yes, and that's a legal requirement because of the kind of work that it is. It's just part of the vetting process. It is important that we get the right people and that volunteers get the right volunteering opportunity. It doesn't mean, however, that somebody with convictions or a criminal record can't do this. They certainly can. We're looking for people right across the community. It depends on whether the convictions or criminal record is at all relevant. But having convictions does not automatically debar somebody from doing this.
Why is it important to make sure you get the right match?
It is really important. We're asking young people and volunteers to engage in a relationship with somebody they don't know. So that's a risk. You know, when you start a relationship of any kind, there are risks to it. So we try and make sure that people are going to enjoy one another, maybe share some interests, share a sense of humour perhaps. We had one match and the young girl, well, she was a young woman, she was about 15, she said, yes, we both hate Cliff Richard. And I had never known that they both hated Cliff Richard, but apparently that was a good match. If you're going to spend time with somebody, then I think it is important that you're going to be able to get on with them and enjoy their company.
What does a befriender hope to gain from volunteering their time with the service?
Different volunteers are looking for different rewards from their investment, from their time with the service. And it is important that they get what they're looking for. Some people are looking to build work experience to kind of present to employers or training providers. Some people are looking to explore an area of work before they perhaps embark on a training course. Some people are conscious that they had a difficult time themselves as a young person and they want to support someone through similar circumstances. Some people just want to use their time in a way that they feel is more valuable. People want to make a difference to somebody else's life in a positive way. And it's a tremendously rewarding experience. I mean, volunteers tell us about the buzz they get and the lift they get from seeing their young person succeed at things or simply enjoy things and you know, kind of grow and become the best version of themselves. And it's important that young people see that volunteers get something out of this, because that means the young person is giving the volunteer something of value. And that's important for young people to see that as well.
Your befriending service is free to access and use, but it obviously needs funding to continue to run on a year-to-year basis. Where does your funding come from?
Currently, we're funded by BBC Children in Need, by the National Lottery and by the Henry Smith charity. We've had, those are the major grants. We've had smaller grants from various other places as well, but it's largely grant-making organisations. We've also had fundraising events where people's workplaces have got together and done a sponsored something or other. A lovely organisation called PBS did the Tough Mudder Challenge and climbed a Munro for us. And then they did the Tough Mudder Challenge again for us and raised a fabulous sum of money. But you're right, it does need funding on a regular basis. And we rely on grants.
If anyone would like to donate to ensure the service continues to run, how do they do so?
People can go to the Volunteer Glasgow's website and the donate button would be there, or they can get in touch with us about making a donation or supporting us in whatever way. I mean, money's lovely and all the best shops take money, but people can support us in different ways as well, whether that's lending us their expertise or resources for a variety of things.
Jean, that brings us to the end of the podcast. I would just like to say a big thank you, first and foremost, for joining us, and we look forward to talking to you again in the future and maybe doing a little bit of an update. For anyone that does want to know more about Volunteer Glasgow, stay tuned, keep listening and watching, because there will be details about the website, email addresses, how to donate, etc. on your screen at the end of this podcast. So, until next time, it's bye from me, Gary Bryson.
And it's a bye from me, Heather Bryson.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.